All right, so don't adjust your screens. It's not Steve Trang, it's Leon Barnes. Day 2 at CG. Day 1, unbelievable day of reconnecting. Lots of big time performers on the stage sharing, honestly, more so about what they failed at and what they're working on in day 1, which is always great to hear when you have the biggest and the best telling you what they failed at and what they're getting better at. Now, day 2, we've switched it up. It's hot seats. 5 different rooms, 5 different facilitators, 15 presenters in every single room. This is how we at CG grease the wheel. What we mean by that is you get to know who is really good at the things that you are not so good at and be able to help each other. And this could be, guys, this doesn't have to be always business. The great thing about CG is it's beyond business. This is about lifestyle, and it's not just about money. It's how can I implement something that I'm struggling with today in my business to help us continue to move forward. That's our hope today, and I know that's going to happen.
I was walking into the ballroom area and I heard the golden voice. So I knew you were here, right?
Right.
And so we initially connected because you were in the cold calling competition in
Right.
Sub 2.
Correct.
And I was brought in as a judge.
Right.
And I was like, well, you know, this Don guy actually has some natural talent. And I think I kind of gave you some tough criticism. I kind of know for that.
appreciated it.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me personally, when I started back in 2007, I was super stubborn. I didn't think I needed a coach. You know, I was already awesome.
Okay.
I didn't need a mastermind. I didn't need any of that stuff, right?
Right.
So it took a lot of failure from 2007 until 2011 before I finally humbled myself to get a coach.
Gotcha.
And then a few years later after that, before I finally joined a mastermind. So, you know, this is your first CG.
Right.
Okay, so when did you find your first mentor or mastermind?
So actually, my story is a little bit different. I actually started out with a mentor back in 2013, 2014. He guided me through, taught me creative financing before actually wholesaling.
Got it.
You know, 6 years later, I find myself needing a community instead of just a mentor. I realized that a mentor wasn't enough.
Okay, so then what'd you do next?
Next, I went out and sought a community, and that community was Sub 2.
Okay.
It's led by Pace Morby, and still a part of that community today.
Okay, so that was your first community, that was your first mastermind.
Right.
And what did that do for your business as far as where were you and where did you go?
Man, it escalated me quite a bit.
Okay.
Got me a lot of exposure, allowed me to learn different techniques from the creative financing side, and just really gave me a leg up in the real estate world.
Okay, and then why did you join Collective Genius?
Because I felt that at this time it was time to get in a room that of people that were doing way more than me, and still felt that they needed to be doing more.
Yeah.
And this was that room.
Okay, so again, this is your first time. What were your expectations, and then what did you get out of it?
You know, expected to come in and find people doing this business on all different levels, some well above me, and that expectation was far and large exceeded, way more than what I expected. But on top of that, also the people that are willing to reach back and say, hey, here's how you do this. These are the resources that you need. And if you need anything else outside of here, reach out to me.
Okay, so all in all, you would recommend Collective Genius?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
To anybody.
Cool, and I'm the same way. All right, thanks so much, Don.
Thanks, Steve.
How many of you guys have heard of NFTs in the metaverse? Okay. It's pretty much like the newest gold rush. How many of you guys even understand it at all? Have a decent understanding? Perfect. That means there's a lot of people that can capitalize, right? Because nobody gets it. You guys are some of the smartest people in the world. Think about it. And you don't even get it. If you own a valuable piece of land in the metaverse, right? People are gonna want it, right? If you're not willing to sell it. So what do we do as real estate investors? We lease it. So there's so much you can do. You can also develop for other owners if you want to just be a builder. And you can have games, products, and all that stuff inside your building. That stuff is literally already happening. Snoop Dogg has a building. Atari has buildings. Huge companies have metaverse buildings already, and they're monetizing them. So with title companies, you're not gonna need them on the blockchain, okay? Once it's publicly available, I don't need anyone else to tell me that you own it. It's right there, I know you own it. You can't say you don't. And it's already happening. A house in Florida just sold for $650,000.
One of the things that we've been talking to with some of the investors is they're having problems with the TCPA compliance. The carriers are finally enforcing it and making it harder to text and cold call. So some guys are pivoting. I just want to see, has that affected your business at all?
You know, our business as far as getting deals goes is mainly through TV commercials and PPC. So we haven't really missed a beat on that front. I mean, texting and cold calling have always been great for us over the years, but it didn't make up like this big part of our budget. So, you know, for us, we actually saw it in Q4 that cold calling was like atrocious. And I said, hey, we got one more quarter to see if this is going to be fixable or if we're just cutting it. Because, you know, for me, the reason I got into TV a couple of years ago is because I knew that was going to happen. Like, they've been saying it. Carriers have been doing it. It's just now they're finally like really enforcing it.
So are you doubling down in any other efforts?
You know, we're gonna try and just see if we can maneuver around all these regulations. But for me anyways, I'm just gonna be doubling down on TV and doing it even more because the return has just always been there.
Yeah. So Darren made a presentation yesterday, like it might be a lower ROI, but he 2.5x his income from TV.
Yeah, and Darren and I have had that conversation. He runs ours, and he was like, dude, I want to see you spending 200 grand a month on TV.
Oh yeah.
And I said, okay, like if we can maintain the ROI, like to his point, if I can 2.5x my income, even though the ROI is not as good, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because that's as entrepreneurs, all we cared about initially was revenue, and then we got smarter and it's like we started caring about profits.
Yep.
And then we got smarter and started caring about KPIs, and now the lesson is like get rid of those KPIs. We don't really care about income.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you start a business to make money, right? And so you want to make the most amount of money with the least amount of risk, with the least amount of effort. That's the formula for all businesses.
Right.
And so for me, TV takes literally no effort. It has the least amount of risk. We don't have to deal with TCPA. And if I can just press a button and increase it more, and then, you know, get a better income, why wouldn't I do that?
Okay, cool. And then I want to talk to you about some more about NFTs. There was some stuff that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think NFTs are going to be the big thing in 2022 as far as becoming more widely known. But I've got my biggest plans for my own businesses with NFTs.
All of them?
Not all of them, just starting a whole new business geared towards the NFT, specifically in real estate.
So, I mean, I think the biggest thing was you kind of saw what the conventional wisdom is, right? Like you had an idea of what the public knew about NFTs, and you got the survey room.
Yep.
And you got to collect some more intel.
Yep.
So what did you discover in that presentation?
Well, you know, I told the room that these are some of the smartest people in the world, right? Like they're all running really big businesses. They're extremely smart, and very few of them, like maybe 5% of the room, actually knew what an NFT was.
Right.
And it's like, if that's what we're dealing with, we're the smartest people.
Sophisticated investors.
Yeah, like no, we're so early, but it also means that we have such a huge opportunity ahead of us.
Yeah. So if I wanted to learn more about NFTs, like where do I go?
Well, this is the problem. There's not really many places to learn. I mean, you can go on YouTube and search NFTs. That's part of the reason why I'm creating mine, because I know a lot and I have friends who know a lot, and we're developing some really cool stuff, but people just don't have like that go-to place. So when my NFT drops, they're gonna have a place to go.
So hypothetically, if someone wanted to get whitelisted,
if you want your best chance of getting whitelisted, I would say go to ryanpineda.com/NFT.
Okay, and then for the guys that want even more of a hookup like myself,
you know, we might have the influencer, whitelist for those guys, but you know, you're gonna have to get your Twitter game up.
Yeah, and I'm pretty active right now, you know, with the NFTs and investing and so on. But I attribute a lot of that to you. Yeah. Right. So you know, you got into Neo Tokyo. I was really excited about it. Yeah. And I saw it was going down. I was like, I'm gonna buy it on the way down. Yeah. But it kept going down. Right. But I'm still invested in the project. I'm so passionate about it. So I'm really excited, and a lot of what I know about NFTs is due to you. So I appreciate that. Yeah, man. And I would just say, you know, right now at the time of this filming, NFT and crypto are kind of in a bear market. But as crypto always goes, it's, you know, drop, skyrocket, drop, skyrocket. But here's the thing. I mean, if you really believe in even Bitcoin or Ethereum, in the long haul, you're always going to win, right? Yeah. As long as you don't sell at the dips. You know, you buy the dips, you don't sell, but most people sell, right? Yeah. Same thing with the NFT project, right? Neo Tokyo,
I was up probably over $1 million on it. Now I'm down a good chunk. But like, I still believe in the project long term. It's only been a few months. Like, I'm gonna hold on to all my assets, and I know that what they're developing in there is gonna help me develop my own project that's gonna be big.
Yeah, and talking about connecting with our community, I connected someone in there who bought a bunch of ETH at $7. Yeah,
that guy's a believer.
Yeah, he's a believer, and he's doing really well in life.
Yeah, no, that's where you want to be. People
exactly.
like that.
And that's us. We have the opportunity today to buy ETH at $7 is to get in early on these projects.
For sure, and if you pick the right one because you believe it has value and utility beyond just the artwork, you can't lose.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, dude.
That's it, we wrapped up day 2 of Collective Genius. So last night, we went out to get dinner with Phil Green, Eric Idison, Gary Harper and his wife, and Jacob. And I thought we were gonna talk some interesting stories, have some fun laughs on what we ended up doing was geeking out about predictive index and personalities, and talking about maybe starting some additional businesses for 3 hours over sushi, which, by the way, is still fun for me. It's just not typically what you expect as far as having happy hour over sushi. This morning, we woke up early again to play basketball, play with Gino this time versus against him, and hit a game winner. That's always rewarding. We had 22, 23 people this morning, so 2 full courts running the whole time. And then we started right in the hot seats. We had 5 different rooms, and I was in Frank Cava's room, which is always a pleasure to be in because he's direct and to the point. And when I see him kind of get irritated, for me, I don't know why, I think it's funny, so I always kind of chuckle. I think he kind of gave me the hairy eyeball a couple of times about that. But there were some really powerful presentations. One that I really enjoyed a lot was Mike Watson. He had a really successful, thriving business all the way through the recession. He had equity and was cash flowing. And because of a couple of groundless accusations, he had the SEC brought after him. He had to spend all this money defending himself from these groundless lawsuits from the SEC and all these other entities that he actually went bankrupt. And from all of that, he went through divorce and was even put on suicide watch. I can't even imagine that misery. And what he took from that, 16 lessons that he learned from that experience, and I wrote down a couple of them for myself because I want to make sure I'm not making those same exact mistakes. And then Ryan Pineda stepped in and brought the house down, talking about NFTs, talking about how to make money in digital real estate 2.0. So we were talking about NFTs, and most people don't really know what it is, so we really got into great detail about that. But all in all, I hope that he was able to convince at least some of the room about what the future in real estate holds. And I was really excited to catch up with Donald because this is actually his first Collective Genius, so we got to hear from him firsthand what's it like to be at the first CG. At the end of the day, what we realized was through the hot seats that we're all struggling. We're all facing challenges. It doesn't matter how far you are in your career. It doesn't matter how successful you are. We're all facing struggles. And what's really cool is that no matter what struggle you're facing, someone else in that room has already gone through it, and we can shortcut that process. And that's the power of a quality mastermind. You've got to find your community. It's not worth struggling on your own when you can get there way faster with people that are like you.